Well, I'm streaming, so hopefully somebody's watching. If not, I'm streaming anyway. Good morning. Welcome to Monday. Sorry, I'm moving pretty slow this morning. Did a lot of yard work yesterday and I'm still kind of recovering from that, I think. Built a couple of garden boxes so we can plant some stuff. Hey, good morning. Thanks. Thanks for saying good morning, Tess. Appreciate that. So, yeah, here we are. So, I guess I'll go ahead and get started since this is being recorded anyway, right? So, if you're watching this later, I don't want to have a whole bunch of dead time right at the beginning. Today, the plan is to go through the visual culture module, or, well, I keep thinking of different names for it, but the cultural analytics, or visual cultural analytics, or analyzing visual digital culture, or something like that. I don't have a good name for it. So if you have a good name, let me know. But let me show you the module, and then I'm going to be taking you through it. Yeah, image visualization, that's really not the... what about cultural visualization? I mean, it's still kind of hard to say, there's like so many syllables in there. Cultural visualization? I don't know. I'm going to think about that. I'm going to write that down and think about it later. But whatever we call it, there is a set of practices. There's a set of practices and a set of things people do with this area, and they call it different things, and so there's not like a uniform thing that we can refer to it as here. But what we do have is a set of things that we can do and a set of tools that we can use to do it. And so I wanted to show you some of those things, and I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a lot of fun. So I've been looking forward to giving you a demonstration of this module. This is going to be interesting because I think some of the things that I'm going to try to get my computer to do will make it hard for it to stream at the same time. So I've preloaded a bunch of things that I can show you, but then if I try to demonstrate the whole process, we may get laggy streaming issues. Hopefully not, but we'll roll with that if we need to. So this is the module description, and in it, it's pretty, pretty vague, as they all tend to be. But I think looking at some examples of this sort of work might be a good place to start. So that's a broken link, so that's not a good place to start. Need to fix that, obviously, but let's check the Wayback Machine for that. People update their websites and move things around. While that's loading, I do have only one save. Hopefully that's the one I want. In any case, while that's loading, this is an article in a journal called the Digital Humanities Quarterly, and this is an article by Kevin Ferguson, who's a researcher who does these kinds of things, and he's making a humanities kind of argument here, like he's analyzing Disney films, and he's using some of the tools, one of the tools I'll show you shortly, to produce a way of looking at these films that leads to different kinds of insights. And he calls this surrealism because, I think mainly because he's trying to resist the idea that this approach simply is an experiment and a hypothesis and a result. He's trying to find something a bit more, I don't know, a bit more nuanced and a bit more philosophical, and so he comes up with surrealism as a way of describing it. And it's pretty interesting, though. I mean, looking at this, you can kind of start to notice some things and predict some things about which film is each of these thumbnails. Each of these thumbnails is an entire Disney film, all compressed into one image. This is Alice in Wonderland. So I can show you how to make these images here a little bit later, because hopefully Kevin Ferguson describes his technique on here very clearly and says, like, shows you how to do that in the article. Let's see how the Vogue one. Okay, yeah, good. So Vogue, this is something similar, where you can. Well, this is a. Okay, so that's a preview of it. Let's see. Hopefully this link works. I need to double check this whole thing here. Oh, nice. Okay, so these are a whole bunch of different visualizations of covers of Vogue. So we've got histograms, which is going to be a kind of bar chart for different properties. We've got colorimetric space. I can show you how to do this. And we've got continuity and change across decades. So pretty interesting stuff. So this is the kind of project that you might do for this. This one's very elaborate, done by a professional, done with, as it says, 6 terabytes of data. You don't have to do something on this scale, but if you're looking for things to do, this might be inspirational, I guess. So basically what we're going to be doing and what I'm going to show you is you're going to need to have a bunch of images. I can give you folders of images if that's something that you want to do and you're not sure how to start, but a common thing, or the thing I like to do usually, is take a film, take a video, and extract images from that, say 1 image every second, or 12 every second, or something like that. And then you get a folder full of thousands of images, and that's what you do with that's the thing that you take into these different tools. So if that's something you're interested in, I can show you how to do that. It takes some time, and there are several steps, but it definitely can be done. The other thing people have done sometimes is images from somewhere else. So download a bunch of images. Like if you can get all of your Instagram photos, for example, there is a tool for that. I don't think it works anymore. The one that I know probably doesn't work anymore. But find what you can to get something. It looks like Courtney just posted something. Oh, great. Yeah. So this looks pretty good. Animationscreencaps.com. Not familiar with this, but thanks, Courtney, for sharing this. What does this do? Huh, okay. So like how does this work? So oh, interesting. Okay. So how many is it? Like the whole movie? Because like this is perfect if that's what this does. Let's see. Let's get Moana here. Maybe. Oh, it cost $8. Okay, so that's still something. I mean, that it exists. I don't want to pay $8 for it, but that's suggests that it's possible. Okay, if you want to make your own image of like your own folder of images, you first have to have a digital copy of the thing that you want to extract frames from, and so getting a digital copy of Moana on your computer might be challenging. I mean, you'd have to rip a DVD, or you might have to get it from honestly get it from a torrent. That's what I usually do. But I would say come up with an idea. If you have an idea, let me know what your idea is, and I can help you figure out the way to get it. There might be ways to do it, or there might be ways, like if you're uncomfortable with torrenting, I can do it, and that's easy. But in any case, I can show you what I've got here. On this computer, I happen to have a few episodes of SpongeBob, and so that's what I'm going to be working on today. So let me get to the demo. This is where it goes. Actually, before I get to the demo, I should have said this at the outset. Don't forget to do the weekly, what do I call them? The weekly reflection report, whatever. The week 10, 11, 12 things in Canvas. Even if you're just saying, I didn't do anything this week, please do it. I want to hear from you every week. This is a way to check in and for me to kind of make sure that you're checking in with things. A lot of you still haven't submitted week 12, so please do that. Otherwise, I'm going to start following up and seeing what's going on, because I want to make sure that you're not drifting away and doing other things. There's a lot of things going on right now, so I want to make sure that you're staying connected as much as possible with school stuff. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look. So this is, I'm going to show you this tool here first because it's one that you will probably, I hope you will find useful. This is something I made, and this URL, I'll just send this in Slack. Here's the it's called IMJ or IMJ, I guess. And the way you use this, it's built in your web browser. It uses JavaScript and your own computer to process a bunch of images. Um, and I say that because of that constraint, because it's running in your web browser, and because it's working on your own computer, there are various quirks, and people's computers are different, and memory is limited and allotted in different ways. So your mileage will vary, which means that some of you may try this and it just won't work, and you'll get errors, and I may or may not be able to help. I will try to help, but it's something that just sometimes just chokes on certain tasks, and I don't know why exactly. There's just too many variables to consider, but it works right now on this computer that I'm using, so I can show it to you. And I went ahead and pre-did it, so I'm not gonna. I will attempt to go from beginning to end, but I wanted to show you the end first. So step one, you load your images. I've already done that, and you can see I've got the 666 files selected. That was from one episode of SpongeBob. And in step two, you choose which visualization option you want. The default is a barcode, and it'll come up with some default settings that make sense given what images that you've uploaded. And you have to apply the settings. You have to click this button here and then hit do the thing, and it'll do the thing. In this case, this just made a simple barcode. So it just took every frame, every one of those images, and squeezed it to make it a pixel wide, and then however tall, or not necessarily a pixel, it just takes the total width and divides it by the number of images, and then fits it in there, and then stretches it if necessary. And it ends up looking like this. So you can still kind of see, people in it, or characters. You can kind of see what's going on in this episode. What episode is this? I mean, if you're a SpongeBob, this is Hall Monitor. Okay. I don't actually know. I never really watched SpongeBob, and my kids don't either. But I had this for some reason. So if you like this image, you can then right-click Save As. The download button there often doesn't work for some reason. I don't know why. But right-click Save As works, so that's what I'd recommend. Okay, so that's the basic, just a straightforward barcode. I also did the same thing with a different setting, and this is a barcode, but this is with the dominant color only. So this one takes a little bit more processing. In this case, the code is going to take each of those images, 666, and it's going to figure out what is the main color used in this image, and then it's just going to use that color to create the vertical bar for that frame. And then so you see them going this way. You still see a similar change in color. There's this kind of dark blue scene near the end. But it looks a little bit nicer. It's a little bit more, I guess, aesthetic. You can also do average color or color palettes. So color palettes is going to give you 3 images, 3 colors per image, and so it stacks them up vertically. I don't think it looks that good, honestly, so I don't really like it. But that's what you can do with that. Okay, let's look at a couple other options here. And again, I went ahead and pre-did these because I'm not sure if this is going to, if the stream will survive if I do these live, but I will try that in a moment. So here, this is the montage, and this just takes each image and then it squeezes it. It just prints them in an array like that. And you can change how big each image is and how many columns there are, and then it just goes however far down. In this case, I think I was getting a frame every 2 seconds, so it's fairly short for this episode. It's a fairly small number, but you can still see the same kinds of things we saw before, where there's a darker scene near the end. I haven't seen this episode, so I don't know what's going on with it, but yeah, you can kind of see it. It looks better. These look better when you have more images, I think, to look at. So that's the montage, and then finally, this is a colorimetric plot. And in this case, it's the same 666 images, and then here under the plot tab, I've loaded some options. So each thumbnail is going to be 18 pixels by 14 pixels. The canvas that it creates is going to be 800 by 600. Those are the kind of basic things. And then the fun over here happens when you set what value to assign to the x-axis and what to put on the y-axis. So it's going to analyze each frame, each JPEG, and it's going to calculate a number for its hue, saturation, lightness, value, brightness, luminance, red, green, blue, and it's going to use that value to put it on this Cartesian plane, x and y coordinates. So you can see the color distribution, and you can see kind of, again, that darker scene still kind of stands out over here because that's where the blue hue is. So I guess this way, if you're looking at me, and then the darkness and lightness are going vertical in this particular projection. So the lighter something is, or the brighter, the farther down it's going to be. The darker, the higher it's going to be. And so you can kind of see a map of this of the color palette used in this episode pretty clearly and quickly. So this one actually looks pretty good. This is interesting to me. Like you can see a tendency towards blue, and that's not surprising in SpongeBob because they are under the sea. But you can see how there's other clusters over here. It'd be interesting to compare multiple episodes with this kind of analysis, and then you could see if this is a typical episode or if this is an unusual episode. So look for what is the kind of dominant pattern, and then see what the variations are, what breaks those patterns. So pretty cool. All right, so let me try to do this, and I'm going to, I guess, let me know if the stream hangs. Let's get a different episode. Let's go here and let's see. Let's do. I went ahead and I pre-extracted all these. I can show you the extraction step later, but let's get episode 8A. So I'm just skimming here to highlight all these. I don't know, you probably can't see this window, but I'm selecting all these. Actually, let me switch my projection so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so hopefully that's. I'm gonna wait till I see it on the preview. Yeah. Okay. So I need to browse and then find the images I want, and I'm clicking on the first one that's in 8A, and then scrolling down until I see the last one in 8A. And then I'm going to hold shift and click on the last one, so it should select all of the 8As. Where is it? There it is. Like that. If you just had it all in one folder, of course, you could just select all of them. Okay, so far so good. Now these are all loaded, and you can see that they're loaded because it says 666 files selected. This thing's selecting a folder of images that only works in Chrome because of the way Chrome's API exists, and it's not really, I don't know, it's not better. Like, it just is a different way to do it. Okay, so let's try to make a plot. Yeah, let's do a plot. So let's just do the same settings, right? So it's same width and height, same size of thumbnails, and let's do hue and brightness again so we can compare these. So this is the part it may start choking the stream, but we'll hope for the best. All right, so here we go. And I will watch the stream. There's always a bit of a lag in the stream manager that I have, but